So again, good morning. Good morning, John Paul. And
Morning, ma'am.
to everyone, good morning. And we are now on module 3 of our lesson on sheep and goat management. And last time, we talked about the introduction of sheep and goat management and domestication and the different breeds of goats and sheep and its economic traits, no? And both goat and sheep. Good morning, Novi. And also, we talk about the different system of production. No? And on the video, we discuss the housing of sheep and goat in detail, but in that have seen most uh, presented as well as the care management of lambs their care, winning. So, in continuation of our discussion, we're going to talk about breeding management of sheep and goat. So, I will just explain to you some points, no, and we will go back again to the video because we are done with the goat. And although kasi naputo na tayo sa Zoom, but bali nag-cut off na yung 45 minutes. So, I hope you continued on the links that was provided. Tapos yung ano, naman niyo. So, hopefully nahumanin niyo, no? Okay, so to select ewe and ram for breeding, it should be 18 to 24 months, no, depending upon their body condition. And females should be mated only when they reach 70% of their average adult body weight. So by weight, hindi lang siya by age. So it will take really up to 2 years for before we can start breeding the ewe, no, or ram, and the libido, and also the adult body weight. And the libido of the ram is also very important to achieve the desirable breeding. So about sex ratio naman, particularly in India, rams are usually turned out in flock during mating season at the rate of 2 to 3% of the ewes all through day and night under the optimum breeding. No? So, merong tayong mating season na may rate na 2 to 3%, no? And it happens all day and night. So ang ratio ng ram per ewe is 3%, no? And the male should be, so you can see that in animal husbandry, mas yung lalaki kaya niyang mate or reproduce, mag-mate ng kahit ilang babae or or yung ating mga yung mga babaeng baka or kaya kambing. So that's the sex ratio. So for every halimbawa 100 females, so 3% of that should be the male or the ram. And it should be replaced or exchanged once in 2 years to avoid inbreeding. So iba-iba dapat ang kanyang ram para walang inbreeding. Kasi sa animals, parang inbreeding it's not good kasi parang nagkakaroon sila ng mga characteristics na mga and also one part of explanation of that is that if you only breed within the family, so hindi ma-improve yung lahi, no? So, 7, 2, 4, 6. Okay, so there are preparation done, the preparation done for the ram for of you or ram for breeding. So of course you know what is ewe and ram, diba? Ram for the male and ewe for the female goat or and sheep. So flashing of um, X flashing is actually one of the feeding of extra concentrate to ewe or goats prior to the onset of breeding season, normally 3 to 4 weeks before breeding. No, and this increases the ovulation rate of ewes so that the number of twins and triplet increase. So the more na magkaka-twins or triplets sila, the better kasi madami tayong um, new stocks or headings. So we do flashing by feeding them extra concentrates. So this is done 3 to 4 weeks, no, before mag-breed ka, and so by supplementing about 250 grams of um, daily concentrate and daily and 500 grams of good quality legume hay per head per day. And this will increase as the lambing or kidding rate by 10 to 20%. So for their Easter cycle is somewhat just the same, no, in all animal kingdom. But for you and those will exhibit estrus or heat at regular intervals during the breeding season. So estrus is the, as we have discussed last time, is the fertile period, and the female does not, if the female will not conceive after this fertile period, it will be repeated every 16 to 17 days in the average of use ranging 14 to 19 days and 19 to 21 days in those, and ranging 7 to 24 days. So, ang interval may be 1 to 2 days shorter in young animals, and the Easter period will last for about only 24 to 36 hours. So, 1 to 2 days lang siya in you, and 34 to 38 hours in those. No? Doe is for the sheep, no, and ewe is for the goat. Am I correct? Baka nakalimutan ko. So estrus or signs of estrus is a march mark in the doe than in the ewe, no? The outward signs are, so mas klaro ang estrus cycle or signs ng doe kaysa mga ewe. Reddening of the vulva and discharge from vulva. So which is also the same from in cattle and in carabao. Tail wagging, pag inaano nila yung tail nila, mounting over the other animal. Of course, sinasakyan na nila yung kanilang yung ibang animals. Okay, and seeking male. So naghahanap sila ng mga lalaki. Frequent bleating, standing for mating. Generally, the young females don't show aggressive estrus behavior, but the males are attracted by the smell, sight, and sound and exhibit following behavior. So since they are sniffing the vulva, ginasimot-simot nila, extending neck with curling and upper lip, parang nagadugsing-dungsig sila or nagkadal-cuddle na, no? And biting the side of the ewe or doe and bull pulling. So body ewe, raising and lowering of one front leg in the stiff leg striking motion. So parang pagpareharan ng dog, nakakita na ba mo kung mag-mating ang mga kambing o mga
Yes,
iro?
ma'am.
Kita na mo. So, ayo lang mo ka.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's normal in animals, no? But so, and then after that, they mount and mate. And the system of mating could also be classified as natural mating, hand mating. So, in this system, the user, those in heat, are mated with desired ram or, and the females are allowed to mate one by one. So in this system, a ram or a buck may not be allowed to mate more than 3 ewes or does per day. So sa isang araw, grabe no, may 2 or 3 silang pwedeng i-mate. This method of hand mating ensures that it involve lambing. So kasi
Ayaw.
pag hand mating kayo, parang kayo talaga yung nag-assist, malalaman nyo kung kailan siya nag-assist, malalaman nyo kung kailan. But if sira lang, hindi nyo napansin na nasa likod lang sila, nag-mate na. So, I will just ask. Okay, so going back, meron din tayong pen mating na tinatawag. In this mating naman, the ewe or does are divided into batches varying from 20 to 25 each, no, sa isang pen. And the males are then turned into the flock only during the night time. So, nilalagyan sila ng male, ram or buck in the night time and separated during the day, which gives enough rest for the male. So, mag-rest din ang male kasi biruin mo 25 ewe or does ang pwede niyang sa isang male yan, ha. And this system of mating also prevents the disturbance used by the male during grazing hours. So pag hindi mo mabantayan yan, palagi na lang yan, mag-exhaust yung mga males. For flock mating na naman, this system of mating is practiced normally by farmers. In the system, males are allowed to run along the females throughout the day and night. So parang ad libitum, no, na pagkain na parang as much as you can, as many as you can. The male will lose most of its body reserve in chasing the ewe, and they may also lose their body condition. So, may exhaust din yung male. So, yun yung disadvantage ng flock mating. So, meron din tayong artificial breeding system, yung artificial insemination, which has been insinuated or nakita na natin on the bulls and on cattle and in buffalo, no? So this offer best means of distributing germplasm from nucleus breeding flock to may small flocks within each ecosystem. So to improve the breeds, so ito is the best talaga. Well, anyway, they are fresh since frozen semen is used. Fresh or frozen semen can both be used, no? Using the speculum method of insemination for use and dose. So last time we have seen na may parang gun method yung cattle, no? So speculum method naman ang tawag sa goat and sheep or use and dose. And the feeding management is earlier during on the video before, we have seen the different feeding management of goat, no? And for this time, we're going to see the sheep, no? Feeding the breeding ewe. So alam na natin na pag magbubuntis na sila after 2 years, 12 to 24 months, papakainin lang natin ng marami para sa breeding period, no? Which is very important. So kanina we have learned flashing and Most of this I will show you, no? Um, for last time we have seen on goat, so papakita ko na naman ngayon yung sa sheep na naman. So there are different rates of feeding concentrate per day depending on their body weight. Like for example, no, kung nasa 12 kilograms siya, so you are going to feed them with 25 to 50 grams of legume fodder or 200 300 grams kung wala siyang legume or kasi maraming proteins ang legume. So pag nasa hanggang 35 kilogram, so dadami rin siya up to 150 gram with legume fodder and 600 grams. So ganun kadami. But when you are grazing them in a pasture land, so estimate mo na yung grasses ba doon kasya sa isang flock mo, no? So you kailangan estimated mo na 'yon. So this is the feeding concentrate. Ibig sabihin, you are preparing a concentrate to feed this goat and sheep. But for grazing naman, we're just going to let them, no, graze to the pasture land. So, for the feeding management naman ng goat, those are the above I have said is the for sheep, no? May mga feeding habits din, no? And I will just show you more. Last time na-discuss na ito sa itong mga feeding habits ng goat. So, meron tayong two system again, yung concentrate or yung pasture. So, since they are all ruminants, no? And so most of their diets are mostly roughages or yung leguminous fodders, yung fresh na leaves like sorghums, mais, goats, no? And even mga vegetables like cabbage and cauliflower and napier grass. Of course, you know what are napier grass. And mga like neem, glaristidia, no? I hope you know those plants or crops. So nutrients required are for maintenance and production, of course, or for milk, meat, and hair. Kasi for sheep, for instance, not so much for goat, their wool is also for industrial use and also for pregnancy. So, ang maintenance nila is required, no? Which is also 25 to 30% for additional feed kung kailangan sila ng maintenance. So, depende din sa kanilang size. And production rate, like pag 50 kilogram, it will yield also 2 liters of milk with 4% fat. This will be met by 400 grams of concentrate mixture and 5 kilograms of leguminous fodder. So it means that it has 12 to 5% protein content. So sa pregnancy ratio naman, medyo iba, meron siyang mga succulent type of food at meron siyang 3 to 4 days after killing na level of diet will be lowered and make it more fibrous, so madaming roughages and normal rate lang ang during pregnancy. And for the stock naman, yung mga maliliit, young stock, so weekly growth is expected to be 0.6 kilogram and should be fed with 50 to 100 ml of colostrum. So maliliit pa sila, kailangan sila padedehin sa mama and 4 to 5 times a day depending sa birth weight also. With a concentration mixture or with, for example, we have 20 grams maize, 22 grams ground nut cake, wheat bran, mineral mixture, and common salt. So, kailangan din nila ng asin. So, mga mineral mixture goats require large quantities of calcium as for goat than the sheep. So, the mineral mixture may also include the rate of 2.2% na minerals. So, common salt naman, salt licks is very important for goats as they secrete good amount of sodium and chloride ions in milk. So this is for the male. And the 2% may also be mixed with daily grain ration of goat. So marami ding vitamins na kailangan ang goat, no, particular ADE, and the microbes in the rumen will synthesize other needed vitamins na. So itong yung A and D should be included in the growing kids. So for diseases naman ng sheep and goat, so we have mentioned that on the for goat na on the previous video. So meron tayong usually mga caused by Clostridium perfringens or type D for enterotoxemia. So, meron siyang symptom and lesions, no? These are gram-positive bacteria. So you should vaccinate them, no, at 4 weeks of age. We also have the PPR or Peste des Petits Ruminants or goat plague. This is caused by virus paramyxicide or morbilli virus genus. So, for virus naman, merong mga clinical, pathological, epizootiological findings. So, to control this one, you need treatment, no? Since this is a virus, so vaccination pa din. So, meron tayong tinatawag din sheep, goat, and pox. So, mga viral diseases, so vaccination lang din. Blue tongue or another although non-contagious siya, but it's a viral disease and also still need vaccination. So, so that's all for the management ng sheep and goats. So we'll proceed further for a video presentation if you don't have more questions regarding what we have discussed a while ago. So please just watch on the links provided. This is for the PM session. Although pareho lang talaga ang explanation ko, no, for the morning and afternoon session, pero magkaiba kasi kayo ng group or mga classmates. Pero sa Google Classroom, isang Google Classroom lang kayo. So last time we discussed on this one, although naputol yung video, but it's on the last part na yung sa kanyang diseases. So I hope you continue watching that, no? And I guess we will start on this is sheep farming in the Philippines. So do you have any question before we proceed? Yes, any of you have a question? Wala? Okay, so shall we proceed now?
On today's episode, a growing business. Tuturuan tayo ng Elisa Farm sa General Santos City kung paano pumasok sa sheep breeding and fattening. Mga requirements at practices sa pagtutupa, atin ang makikita. This portion is brought to you by Elisa Farm. Cattle and hog are the common livestock businesses in the country because of its meat-producing qualities. Even goat is making its way into our diet. But recently, sheep meat has started to gain a good reputation in the market. Learn why this is a viable business with the help of Julissa Agribusiness Corporation. In general, there are only two types of sheep, wool and meat type. But in tropical countries like the Philippines, sheep farming will almost automatically mean sheep fattening.
Yung kumbaga yung market ng wool hindi viable kasi it took us to many process, then wala man nagabili na sa atin ng wool dito kasi we're in a tropical region man. Hindi marketable talaga yung wool dito. Dito, manotice mo yung sheep natin, although meron siyang by nature natural yung wool niya, dito natatanggal yan dahil sa init. Gina-adapt na yung environment natin kasi we're in tropical region.
There are two types of sheep here at Elisa Farm, the Dorper and Damara. Dorper was developed in 1946 in South Africa by mating the Dorset horn rams with black Persian ewes. It is fast-growing, heavy-muscled, hairy sheep. It can weigh from 40 to 45 kilos. The breed is best adapted to hot climate. It has an even distribution of a thin layer of fat. Mas malapit ito sa tao o sa mga nag-aalaga nito kaysa sa damara. Damara, on the other hand, was originated from Eastern Asia and Egypt. Ang damara ay mas mataas at mas mahaba ang pangangatawan. It is long-legged and has a fat tail. The color of its hair varies from black, brown, white, or all combination of these. They are predominantly horned sheep. Damara can also adapt in hot climate. Paunti-unting tumataas ang demand sa sheep bilang meat diet ng mga Pilipino na kadalas ay high-end restaurants ang pinagdadalhan nito.
So far, dahil sa price ng sheep meat, medyo doon tayo naapektuhan medyo kasi may kamahalan talaga ang sheep meat.
Compared sa goat, mas madaling alagaan ng sheep dahil hindi ito sakitin. Mababa ang mortality rate nito. Mas mataas din ang timbang nito. Sheep have better mother instincts than goat. Sheep also gives birth as much as goat.
Every year, twice siya manganak. Sometimes, isang birthing niya, makakuha ka ng twins.
Mas malinis din ang sheep. Mas madali ring linisin ang kanilang kulungan.
Easy siya i-handle, domesticated animals. Simple lang siya alagaan. Wala siya na masyado sakit. Tapos good mothering yung sheep. Magaling siya mag-alaga ng bata, ng anak niya.
The location on where to establish the farm is important for easy access of food supplies.
Una-una, the first thing is you must have a good place, a strategical location that near to food supply and not nearby houses and area so that we can have a water treatment facilities.
Ang bilang ng sheep na aalagaan ay mahalaga rin. Magsimula lamang sa 5 ewes o inahin at isang bulugan.
The best to start is 5:1. Yung isang lalaki, 5 babae. That is para sa pinaka the best na to start off, hindi masyado marami, hindi rin masyadong konti so that you can handle the animal.
Just like Eliza Farm, creating market for your sheep is important to have a successful sheep business.
Nung nag-start kami ng marketing, we try to have a sampling. Naglapit kami doon sa mga establishment na which they are selling goat meat. Then we give them our sheep meat for differentiation and price-wise. At first, medyo mahirap talaga i-penetrate. Then, little by little, through perseverance of marketing, nakuha talaga namin yung market ng paunti-unti ngayon. Yung market namin ngayon medyo slowly going up.
Ang return of investment may take 2 years. Mababawi naman ang puhunan at maintenance cost nito dahil sa mataas ang average daily growth ng sheep.
Return of investment, I think, more than a year, less than 2 years. Profit-wise, okay. Kasi ang una-una yung maintenance cost niya, maliit lang. Yung cost, yung hindi masyado komplikado yung operation. Hindi siya susceptible sa sakit. Maganda yung average daily growth niya. Ngayon, wala nang problema kasi nag-peak na yung market natin. Importante talaga market talaga. Kasi kahit gaano kalaki yung product mo, kung wala rin market, wala din tayong profit.
This portion was brought to you by Eliza.
So that was from the farm, in a specific farm, and we have a nice grasp of the industry as well as the different breeds ng sheep. So Do you think you are going to venture someday on sheep farming? Any of you kinsa interesado sa inyo mag-sheep? How about Aya? No, John. So, by the
Wala po, ma'am.
yes, naamoy sheep or goat lang?
Wala po, ma'am.
Wala. So, are you interested someday?
Sa ngayon po, hindi pa po.
Okay, so um, we only have 10 minutes left, so we will give it our ano.
This portion is brought to you by Elisa Farm. Compared to other livestock, sheep breeding and fattening require less management and investment. So if you're ready to start your own sheep farming business, aralin natin kung paano sinisimulang alagaan ang mga tupa. Sheep production in the Philippines are for food consumption. So having a sheep breeding and fattening farm is the most viable form of business for this livestock. The Dorper and Damara are imported from Australia, while the native sheep is one that is already adapted to the Philippines. Our sheep reaches the age of puberty 5 to 7 months after birth. In their 8th month, they become ready for breeding or fattening. Breeder sheep are chosen for a certain list of qualities. Ang mga ewe o babaeng sheep ay dapat nabilugan ng katawan at pantay ang mga suso. They should also reach 35 kilograms of body weight. Ang ram o lalaking sheep naman ay dapat na muscular na umaabot sa 40 kilograms of body weight. They should be strong-built with testicles that have a circumference of 30 centimeters. Kapag hindi pumasa sa qualities ng mga ito ang sheep, nililipat sila sa ibang pen for fattening. Ewes are ready for mating of the 8th month. They're fertile only for 2 days and the ovulation cycle is every 17 days. Magkakasama ang mga ewes and rams for breeding. The ratio of breeder ram to ewe should be maintained to 1:5 kapag bata pa ang ram, at 1:15 kapag sanay na ito. You will know that your ewe is pregnant with these following signs: development of mammary glands, enlargement of abdominal region, and bulging of vulva. The gestation period for pregnant sheep lasts for 5 months. After the 5-month gestating period, ay ipapanganak na ang inyong baby sheep or lamb. Kasama ng nanay na sheep ay ililipat ang bagong panganak na lamb sa nursing pen para pasusuin. Malalaman ang good mothering ability ng mother sheep sa bilis nitong magpasuso ng lamb. Kapag nakakita ng signs na hindi good mother ang ewe, ihiwalay agad ang lamb sa ina at ilagay ang mother sheep sa fattening pen. Ang mga lamb na nahiwalay sa ina, namatayan ng ina, o malnourished ay dapat regularly administered by manual milk feeding or fostering. Ginagamit ang gatas ng kalabaw bilang alternative sa gatas ng tupa. In one bottle, manually feed the lamb. Gawin ito hanggang sa matuto silang kumain ng solid feeds pagsapit ng 3 buwan. Painumin ng probiotic ang 1-day-old lamb. Inject antibiotic penicillin plus streptomycin, vitamin B complex, at amino acid. Day-old lambs also undergo ear tagging and tail docking. Ear tagging is necessary for easy identification of its breed. Sa tail docking, ang buntot ng mga sheep ay tinatanggal upang magamit ng kanyang katawan ang fat nutrient mula sa buntot nito. Use a sterilized scissors in cutting your lamb's tail. Use electric cauterizer to prevent profuse bleeding and to avoid infections. Lagyan ng antiseptic solution gamit ang bulak. After 3 months, ilipat ang lamb sa weaning pens. Dito na sila pakakainin ng feeds. After 8 months, malalaman na natin kung ang sheep ay for breeding or for fattening. For ewes with fair complexions and proportioned body, it is viable for breeding. The rest is for fattening. Paghiwalayin ang lalaki at babaeng sheep for fattening. If the sheep is good for breeding, it will be again transferred to breeding pen and the cycle continues. This portion was brought to you by...
Okay, so that's it. So medyo those are the management, no, from birth to yung for 1 year na sheep, no, for breeding. So the next is just a 3 minutes video on, and then we're going to have the zero grazing sheep, or and also anytime, no, pwedeng maputol ang ating session. So
This portion is brought to you by Elisa Farm. Aside from feeding, there are other activities that should be practiced to closely monitor our sheep. Activities like hoof trimming and dehorning are done for maintenance of our sheep during its growing stage. Hoofs are the nails of our sheep. Dahil nasa close confinement ang ating mga sheep, kailangang i-check palagi ang mga hoofs nito kung mahaba na at dapat nang putulin. Kapag napabayaan, this may cause a mechanical injury dulot ng hindi ito nakakapaglakad ng maayos. Hindi basta-basta ang pagpuputol ng hoof. Hoof trimming should be done every quarter of the year. Hugasan ang mga paa nito gamit ang tubig na may zinc sulfate. Gamit ang hoof trimmer, dahan-dahang putulin ang mga hoof nito. Gamit ang bulak, lagyan ng antiseptic solution ang hoof para hindi maimpeksyon. Inject vitamin A, D, and E, and penicillin streptomycin para maiwasan ang impeksyon. Submerge trimmed hoof by letting it walk in the footbath area that's also composed of water and zinc sulfate. Kapag sumabit ang sungay sa gates, ang isa sa pangunahing mechanical injury ng mga tupa, maaari nila itong ikamatay. Kailangan ng 2 hanggang 3 taong mag-a-administer ng dehorning. Proper handling is very important. When your sheep is stable, saw the horn using hacksaw. Cauterize the cut to prevent blood from flowing. Cauterization is the process of burning a part of the body to prevent blood from flowing. Avoid infection by using antiseptic solutions. Inject antibiotic penicillin to reinforce the prevention against bacterial infections. Tuwing umaga, nililinis ang kulungan. Unahing linisin ang bahaging mayroong shed. Use the swinging gate para papuntahin ang mga tupa sa bahaging walang shed. Using a mechanical manure scraper, i-scrape ang mga dumi. The manure of the sheep is used as a fertilizer to the field. Ibalik ang mga sheep sa loob at linisin naman ang labas na bahagi ng kulungan. Close supervision to your sheep is a must to make sure that your sheep are healthy, safe, and sound. Rumonda sa kulungan tuwing gabi. At this time, our sheep retreat and sleep. Check the sheep one by one, taking attention to its physical condition. Sundin lamang ang mga tamang practices sa pag-aalaga ng mga tupa upang maging matagumpay ang sheep business ninyo. This portion was brought to you by
So, murag dili kayo carry ang ang sheep. Murag murag hassle kayo ang magputol-putol og horn. How about you? What can you say about sheep farming? So the next video is just zero grazing sheep farming. So I hope you're going to watch this. Actually na dapat kanina giuna bago ning sheep